Hello, GoldenHawk here, creator of Ancient Powers, and Archpriestess of the House of Life. I'm coming on today to talk about subconscious, your subconscious, the subconscious, and our core beliefs. I'm going to be speaking also about manifestation here, and it's very important. I have been putting up posts about the wands, the Egyptian rods, and the Semitani courses, and they're very close to being ready. We will actually be taking it live, so we'll be having, looks like we're going to be in SeaTac and down near LA or Hollywood within the next 3 or 4 months with live workshops already. We have had great results with what we're doing. And I've worked with a multitude of modalities. I've taken a lot of classes. I have a whole lot of certificates. And working with the netters the way that I do, I've been being told through the channels that, well, one existed, a teaching existed on core beliefs and the subconscious and how we align all of that. About 2 years ago, I started getting a lot of information on the Semitani, and it's a very ancient symbol out of Kemet or out of Egypt. And I have come to the point where I have been getting very straightforward teaching on the binding of the two lambs and why they use the lotus and the papyrus and the twist that was created about, I don't know, 4,500 years ago on what that was when Amenemhet the first did a binding of the two lands. The Semitani existed way before that happened, and it's come to represent that, but that is not what it represents. It represents bringing the two halves of the mind together with an alignment for hemisync with the subconscious, and it's really powerful. And we've done a lot of work, and I wanted to go in some of the patterns that people are experiencing because of what is in the subconscious and about recognizing it, because I really understand. I understand it from my own experiences, how painful it can be. We believe that we are supposed to be able to manifest our beliefs. If our beliefs are strong enough, if we can align to them enough. But it is our subconscious that holds the core beliefs. And these core beliefs are actually passed on cellularly through generations. They are passed on very early. They actually begin in utero as we're being formed from outside input also. And these beliefs cannot be put into words. For a great portion of them, we don't understand the words when we're in utero. We haven't aligned the spirit or the actual consciousness of our being to the interface of the brain and the body when we're first born. We may not have come from a place that even speaks the same language. We definitely do not come from a place that speaks the language in the same time and place understanding. So we're taking all of this in impressions. We're taking in energy. We're taking in actually things we understand pheromones a lot better while we're real young than we do now. And we are aligned with an animalistic body understanding instantaneously with pheromones. We are aligned with fear, anger, frustration, all of these things. And we have patterns. We're taking things in from the crib where we can't even see what's going on. And we move into our life where we begin to come into our teen years and coming into a much better awareness. We've moved out of just the alpha waves. We're coming into beta, and it's not repetition and impressions that are affecting us so much all the time from the outside. And we've got these pieces in our conscious mind, and we're starting to try to work with them, but we're moved further and further away out of that darkness, out of that subconscious, and we manifest our subconscious. So whatever was going on with your parents or your caretakers, your caregivers when you were real young, whatever they were watching movies about, TV shows around you, people they interacted with, their beliefs, what was on the news, what they said about it, what they felt about it. And sometimes people say things that they don't believe. They basically lie. Some of them don't understand even that they're lying because they have no connection at all with their intimate selves, with their interior life and their wants and their desires, because the want or the desire comes up and it's cut off by the subconscious patterning or by being taught that anything you do for yourself is selfish, if you don't put others first, which actually keeps us out of growth. And I've been looking at patterns that have been really major in doing this Samatani work, and I'm finding that a huge effect is basically from what we believe partnership is, coming from very deep in the subconscious, and we're bringing up partnerships that pattern our parents' partnerships, that pattern the partnerships of those around us when we were real small. And our field actually pattern matches to it. So if you come from a situation where there was violence in the home, or where your mother was subservient or your father was subservient, or where there was never quite enough or only just enough, and all of these pieces affected how your family actually lived, this is pattern matched from the subconscious. And repetition is not going to get you out of it. Doing affirmations will not get you out of it. NLP isn't enough. Psych K, which does help short circuit what's coming up, is very difficult to do alone. And we have other people's information fields inside our own information fields. And this really needs to be done in a way that we can work on ourselves, work with ourselves, be focused into the self. And what comes up out of the subconscious in the short circuiting, especially if you brought your fields into alignment, which is what is done in the Samatani, you're completely your energy fields. You're working in several different layers of what we could call physics, because we're working beyond the Newtonian. We are working deep in the elemental. We are engaging with beyond the quantum into sacred geometry and superstring, because it's all inside the movement and the motion in the neural patterning and the cellular patterning deep in the core patterning of each cell into the helix. So this works with all of that. And when we find that pattern that's been repeating and coming from the subconscious, the need to short circuit it so that we can manifest what we want. When those subconscious patterns come up, there's no sentences, there's no words, there are, for the most part, no symbols coming up. It's just color, light, patches of darkness, patterning. Some people can see in shapes, in grids, and all of these pieces breaking up, moving out, no longer interconnecting, but we don't know what they are. They shift out on their own. And very quickly, very, very instantly, as the belief that we want to put in moves actually energetically into the subconscious, those patterns go out into the field, and we begin a brand new pattern matching, stating what we believe in our mind, in the gamma, or in the beta, even what we're at with alpha, thinking we believe these things. This is not core belief. Core belief comes from this place that is cellular, that is pattern, that is emotional. I found a very powerful pattern in my own subconscious field that I worked with women, with power, with women with abundance. And it came from a field that went thousands of years back in beliefs, but I was able to create an arc and work with it and bring that arc down into the field. And everything is softened. Everything has shifted, moved out, and new patterns have been coming in instantaneously. I don't feel like I'm having to hold on to these beliefs. Working the affirmations, and there's a reason why affirmations don't work other than just the movement into the subconscious. They don't work because affirmations don't engage both hemispheres, and both hemispheres must be engaged. There is a way out of it. Working with sabotage, working in relationship where people are hiding things from you, lying to you. Are they lying on purpose even? You're part of what's pattern matching it that's coming from the subconscious field. You are manifesting it without having a conscious knowing of doing it. And automatically I didn't have anything to do with this. I didn't make this choice. That person made the choice. They did this. It still comes out of the subconscious. You're still part of the pattern match. And it is how energy works. The subconscious is a dark place. It's not a place where we can normally turn on a light and watch the writing on the wall and get it in words. But we can understand through what we are manifesting. We can understand the logical portion as well as our lovely big picture portion from those two hemispheres, and we can change our subconscious. But the old stuff has to be short-circuited, and we actually have to really strongly have both hemispheres covered in what we're bringing in. We need the small logical structure. We need the big picture. And we need to short circuit and empty out those areas of the subconscious. Taking responsibility for what we're actually manifesting. Yes, we are co-creating. I mean, you don't go out and get into a car with an Uber or a Lyft driver, a taxi driver, a friend, and drive off and end up in an accident, and you're not part of it. There is a piece that as we move into greater abundance, something crashes it. As we move into greater freedom, a catastrophe happens. As we go to where we want to be, something stops it. A huge storm may cause great damage. Why are we part of it? Did we manifest it? Well, we manifested being there in the midst of it. It does come from the subconscious. It is patterned in. And that is where your core beliefs reside. Deconstruction works to a certain point, but not beyond that point. Because the energetic patterning, all of the fields have to be engaged. To do inner body work, you must engage the ectoderma and the fascia, because that's where the change happens, and that's where those pieces are stored. But it's in the subconscious that you can actually move into it. Without knowing those deep parts, without understanding the language that is spoken, and it speaks very loudly, because it will put you right in the middle of it, and you can be going, I'm not part of this. I don't believe in this. This isn't how things work. You do believe it, and it is how things work until you change it. It will damage your relationships. It will damage your bank accounts. You'll have problems with insurance, medicine, house, car, whatever it is. It will keep repeating and repeating. And you may do something that makes it a little further and farther between. And it may not be as drastic until it's beyond, because that comes too. Very, very important to examine these patterns, these loops. The friend that betrays you, the contracts that are not quite kept. Where are you at with it? How and why is it happening? And is it cultural? Is it due to the fact that you're female, you're male? How old is it? How deep is it? Because the subconscious affects the cells. The subconscious is in connection with the reptilian mind and every function of the medulla oblongata. Your health is involved. Everything is involved. And you are part of the manifestation without having been told how it works. Really told, really grasping it. And I've looked for a very long time. I've worked on these things for a very long time. Having had an excellent education because I chose it and demanded it, and at times went into self-education. I've been very, very dedicated to this. This has been my life's mission. This has been my life's goal. Understanding this point now, while our solar system is in the photon field, this is the time of revelation, and this is the time we can make these changes. I will be putting the sematommy up first to my AP1 grads, and then it will move into availability for everyone. I'm getting feedback from my graduates. This is going to be shifted so that it works for as many people as possible. PM me if you want to be part of this and make the change. Nefaka. You do have the power.